Have you seen what's going on in Lynn Haven? Have you driven by and seen the? Oh, I'm going to show you the demolishing of the Lynn Haven signs. This video of it. You think it was Saddam Hussein? Who remembers? Who remembers the video in the uh, gosh, early 2000s and the tearing down of the Saddam Hussein signs? Remember that? Oh my goodness. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like in Lynn Haven. Got to get rid of these welcome signs. You know the one when you come in from the Bailey Bridge, and then the other one over by, what is it, Haney? Uh, the sign just demolished. Tom Huey Lewis in the news. For some reason, WMBB got a kick out of this. They were laughing when they were reporting it, but I'm not entirely certain that WMBB wasn't sort of throwing Lynn Haven leadership under the bus. It got such a negative response. Usually when WMBB posts about Lynn Haven, these days it gets very few reactions. They were the leader in reporting to you the public corruption and how they caught the Bonnie and Clyde of public corruption. And then that fell apart. Bernie, why are you defending him? I'm just telling you what I see. There's no evidence. It's going to be, if it's not thrown out, it's not going to be a conviction. How can there be? So, WMBB looks, their house of cards finally fell. Brady Calhoun, who's like, Tom, do I still have to report this stuff? You better. Tom, has he been embalmed? No, he's just had a few. I'm joking, Tom. I like him more than you do. Gosh. Wait till you see Tom Lewis report on this. I'm going to show it to you. And then we got to talk about the doctor of leadership. He's no longer the doctor of leadership. Did you ever hear that interview where I called him on the phone, or he called me back, and I was asking him about this doctor of leadership thing, and he wanted to record it because he wanted to make sure that I didn't splice it up and edit it to make him look bad. You remember that? And I was asking him about it, and there was a lady in his ear, and I could hear her, and she was screaming effing racist. Do you remember this? I said, all I want to know is why you say you have a doctor of leadership when it's a doctor of ministry. I'd be proud as hell to have a doctorate in ministry. Remember that? And he would just kept going back and forth, arguing. Well, he took it down. Let me be more accurate. 2 years ago, when the real mayor of Lynn Haven, Margot Anderson, was removed and charged with 64 counts that all went away because it was a lie from beginning to end. Well, they had a special election, see, and the local establishment really wanted the St. Joe puppet in there. So they said, hey, Arthur Cullen, you know him. He's the political operative and dumpster diver for the local establishment. Very good campaign manager. He knows how to do that. He's won like almost every campaign that he's ever, put together. He lost with Jeff McConnell recently when Mary Coburn beat him a couple years ago in Panama City Beach, but he usually wins. He hasn't been winning as easily though lately. He's only been winning by like, I don't know, a sliver. And his guy, because the establishment says this is our guy, he's a good puppet, is Mayor Jesse Nelson. The establishment really wanted Jesse Nelson in there. So a couple of years ago, he posts in his bio on the supervisor of elections page that he's got a doctor of leadership. Now, that's illegal to do. You cannot misrepresent your education status and credentials when you're campaigning. And the sheriff's office knew that. I know they did. The state attorney's office knew that. I know they did. But, we can overlook it. because we got to get our guy in there. And then it was on the, and then just, you know, to say you're not going to tell me what to do, the Doctor of Leadership put that in his bio on the city's website. That's been on the city's website. I got a Doctor of Leadership. Not no more. I thought you had a master's in English. Not anymore. Not anymore. It's not. I'll show you. In fact, let's get to it. I'm going to show you these things. But first, it's election season, and people have a chance to make a real difference, not just in Lynn Haven. Panama City, I got to tell you, if there were 3 of me, there would be one here. There'd be back in Panama City Beach, where I can't wait to get back to, because they're pulling some stuff you wouldn't believe. Bernie's not here. Let's do it all. But Panama City, oh my God. These people want to spend almost $200 million demolishing the Civic Center and rebuilding it when they could have fixed it for $12 million. But, you know, where are the kickbacks? Unbelievable. Panama City, you have a real chance. Voters, you have a real chance to elect a mayor who would represent you instead of the big developers, the big contractors. Doc Rowan is running for mayor of Panama City. The city wants to spend $170 million to build a new civic center. They could have restored it for $12 million. Why are they so determined to spend more than $150 million than they should? And they want to shut down the boat ramp in the marina. If they have their way, generations of boaters and fishermen would become second-class citizens. It's time for a mayor who puts you first, rather than the big developers. Vote for Doc Rowan on or before April 18th. And of course, in Lynn Haven, if you want real leadership that will appreciate good police officers and hold the bad apples accountable, you know who to vote for. Judy Tinder is running for mayor of Lynn Haven. The people deserve a strong police department, a well-funded police department whose focus is to serve and protect the people equally under the law. That requires new leadership that appreciates its good officers and holds the bad apples accountable. For a strong and better police department, vote for Judy Tinder on or before April 18th. All right, before I show you the demolition of Lynn Haven, there's one more guy that the voters of Lynn Haven, you get this guy in, and you'll make Lynn Haven great again. Brian Gray is running for Lynn Haven City Commission Seat 1. He wants to reform code enforcement so that everyone is treated equally for once. He rejects adopting the International Property Maintenance Code. Don't turn the city into a giant HOA. Vote for Gray on or before April 18th. All right, here we go. This is so amazing. They even use the word demolished. Welcome to Lynn Haven Signs Demolished. Let's listen to WMBB. Let's watch WMBB. This is Tom. This is the news director, Tom Huey Lewis, and the news. Listen to this.
Welcome signs, at least the majority of them, are no longer standing on Highway 77. Construction workers started taking down the 2 iconic signs today. One stood at the foot of the Bailey Bridge, the other on the corner of Baldwin Road, right by Haney Technical College. The signs weren't that old, but city officials say they were damaged during Hurricane Michael, and they apparently were not built to withstand a major hurricane.
By design, by default, you cannot build a sign that will withstand 200-mile-an-hour winds, because that would mean that it would also withstand the impact of a car, and could potentially kill a person.
The sign by Haney should be completely gone by tomorrow. Removing the sign right there by Haney, the city officials selected a student's design for the new signs, which they hope to have in place by the 4th of July.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to come on now. I want to go over that again. All right. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll mute that and we'll watch it again. But I want to read your comments. I want to read your comments about this. What is this really about, this demolishing of the Welcome to Lynn Haven signs and bringing in new designs? All right. We see you there, Tom. We'll get back to you in just a minute. All right. get back to Tom Lewis in just a minute. Let's take a look at your comments. I've got my theories about what this is really about. I don't think there was a single good comment on WMBB about this. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Oh wow, Doc Rowan's getting some love. Why were they demolished? Well, because they want to bring. I love these plant questions. Because what is his real name? Because they want to put new signs up there. That's why. You heard. They were damaged by the hurricane. And so let's put some new signs up there. That is the ostensible reason. But what I think is going on is that when I say they, Mayor Jesse Nelson, City Manager Vicky Gaynor, and really the rest of the entire commission that you have right now, 4 out of the 5 seats are up for vote. But they are, in my view, now this is my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. They are so narcissistic and they are so petty that they want to get rid of anything that sort of represents Mayor Margo Anderson's era. And if you think about the signs, and I've heard it said, and I agree, that the signs are symbolic, really, that they withstood the hurricane. Was there some damage? Yeah. But cities that keep their architecture and their old buildings have a certain charm to them. As a matter of fact, there's an organization, I can't remember, Smart Cities, I think it might be. One of the best things that Pensacola did to turn its downtown around into a thriving district is they kept their old architecture. They resisted the suggestions to tear them down and build brand new buildings, spend a ton of money, pay their contracting friends, and get kickbacks. That's how that works. But instead, they want to renew it in their own image, in the image of the current mayor and city manager. That's my opinion. What do you think? Do you guys agree with that? And I know we've got Ryan Scray, who keeps saying thank Judy Tinder because she voted for it. And I haven't asked Judy about that. I'd like to know. Look, honestly, I'm going to tell you something. I don't have heartburn about them replacing the signs. That is not something that keeps me up at night. Okay? I like the old signs. I wish they'd have kept the old signs. I wish they'd prioritize spending differently. I realize it comes from the CRA money, but I still wish they would prioritize spending differently. Okay? My big deal is that the city got such a negative reaction. Now hear this. They got such a negative reaction when they posted it on the city's Facebook page that they didn't shut off comments. They limited who could comment. Right? They discriminate against some commenters. And I do not think that that's legal, but who's going to hold them accountable? The state attorney's office? Come on. That's what keeps me up at night, especially in an election season, because somebody asked, and I don't know who it was. I can't remember, but whoever asked, I should have thought of it. And I'm glad you made me think of it. Shutting off negative comments on the city's Facebook page or discriminating against dissenting comments during an election season with 2 weeks left for the election, April 18th. That is a form of election interference. If all you're letting go through at this point are positive comments and not comments of people who are concerned, who disagree, who have that is a form of election interference, in my opinion. What do you think? Stan, I don't know if it is or not. Stan asked if that's what I was wondering. But here's what we're learning in Lynn Haven and in these United States is it doesn't matter what the law says if the sheriff and the state attorney and the FDLE and whoever else has the authority to enforce and prosecute the laws don't give a flip about the laws. It doesn't matter. And one thing I've noticed over the past 10 years, and especially over the past 5 years, is elected officials have learned that they can do any damn thing. And if nobody is going to enforce it, it's party time, baby. Who gives a flip? I almost said it. I almost said the real word. Yes. If they don't hold them accountable, there's absolutely no shame. This is what used to, okay. If you take this in a partisan way, that's on you. But what used to make America great is that everybody had the right to burn a flag, but most people didn't burn a flag because of values, because of people being judgmental about it. And that those sort of cultural norms and values meant that we didn't have to pass laws about everything because people sort of self-governed based on cultural norms and mores. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's election interference too. But that's really what made America a great place. But now, when only some people are held accountable and others are not, should I say it? Everyone say it's Banana Republic time. Oh, everybody's saying Banana Republic. Nobody knows what it means. I know what it means. I got a bachelor's degree in political science. But I didn't learn it there. I just learned it the other day when my mom asked me and I couldn't answer it. I said, I know kind of what it means, but kind of's not good enough. Oh, all right. Can we watch Tom Lewis one more time? When he notice the early part of the video, when they're demolishing the sign, does it not remind you of when the Saddam Hussein statue was torn down? You got to see this again. Watch this. Look at Tom Lewis is giddy too. Watch. Look at him. Look at that. Saddam Hussein, iconic signs. I should have written that. I'm going to edit that when after the show. Oh God, I have the volume off. Okay, sorry. I'll do it again. So I should have said that the iconic Lynn Haven signs. Even WMBB calls it that. Here, well, listen to Tom Lewis.
Bridge, the other Lynn Haven's welcome signs, at least the majority of them, are no longer standing on Highway 77. Construction workers started taking down the
Saddam
two
Hussein
iconic signs today. One stood at the foot of the Bailey Bridge, the other on the corner of Baldwin Road, right by Haney Technical College. The signs weren't that old. The city officials say they were damaged during Hurricane Michael, and they apparently were not built to withstand a major hurricane.
By design, by default.
Oh, by the way, here's how I know that this is extremely unpopular. Everybody ought to know, right? Because he takes credit when the city does good things. If you're the mayor, you got to own it. Mayor Jesse Nelson, if this was a feel-good story, if everybody loved this story, damn well Mayor Nelson would have been up there, or one of the commissioners or the city manager patting themselves on the back, but it's not. So put the department head up there to explain it. We don't want to explain it. Even WMBB has got a snarky attitude about it.
You cannot build a sign that will withstand 200-mile-an-hour winds because that would mean that it would also withstand the impact of a car, and it could potentially kill a person.
The sign by Haney should be completely gone by tomorrow. Removing the sign right there by Haney. The city officials selected a student's design for the new signs, which they hope to have in place by the 4th of July.
Oh, thank you, Tom Lewis. Thank you, Tom Lewis. Huey Lewis in the news. Okay. All right. So, Brian Gray says they should have been repaired. Brian Gray, if you don't want to turn the city of Lynn Haven into an HOA, vote for Gray. Here's Brian Gray. 4-term combat vet. Wow. Brian, they better vote you in there. Early voting starts Monday. Right on. All right. So, let's take a look at this. So, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna read you what I wrote, so I'll be more succinct. Let's take a look at candidate for mayor for re-election, Jesse Nelson, and we knew that he omitted Doctor of Leadership because he doesn't have one. We knew that he omitted that on the Supervisor of Elections website, but somebody said, I think it's still on the city's website. So I looked today and here's what I found. Ooh, look at this. I'm going to make it big. I guess that works like that. So this is the city's this is his bio page on the city website. All right. So at the very, it's got all the stuff. I'm a senior pastor, volunteer, police chaplain. This is his bio on the website. But look at that. He edited the page, and now it's accurate. It says he has a doctorate in ministry. That's what we've been saying, Jesse. Why have we been fighting over this for so long when you knew that you don't have a doctorate in leadership? Like I say, Jesse, if you got a doctorate in leadership, then I'm the gangster of love. I'm a little concerned, actually, because people have been, honoring me with that title, and I like it. Okay. Say, what do I call? Do I call him Captain Thompson? Do I call him Mr. T? What do you? No, you either call me Maurice or the gangster of love. But now that Jesse's not even claiming to be a doctor of leadership, I don't want that to strip away the title, is all I'm saying. And that's probably why he did it. That's probably his motivation. He probably said, hey, baby, Bernie said if I'm a doctor of leadership, then he's the gangster of love. And whoever was with him on the phone that day probably said, that effing racist. So she said that time. That effing racist. Don't let him be the gangster of love. Does he really have heart glasses? I'm not telling you. All right. What happens here stays here. And you don't need to know about it. That's what happened. All right. So look, let me tell you. Let me read a little bit more of this to you. Here's what I said today. It's an admission. It is an admission. No doctorate of leadership. Lynn Haven Mayor Jesse Nelson has removed that lie from the city's website, and it is a lie. Finally, Jesse Nelson has edited his bio to state the truth. He has a doctorate of ministry, and that's something to be proud of. He should be ashamed, however, of lying for 2 years about having a doctorate of leadership. I need to edit that. Look, I said about have a doctorate of leadership. Well, you say you got a master's in English. You can't even write. You got me. He has omitted that. Okay. I suspect, here's what I really think. I suspect that Jesse Nelson was forced to make the correction since it violates Florida statute for political candidates to misrepresent their education credentials. 2 years ago, the Bay County Sheriff and the state attorney allowed him to lie to voters after the sheriff helped the FBI wrongly remove Mayor Margo Anderson from office on August 19th, 2020. That's when it happened. Federal prosecutors, as you know, charged her with 64 counts related to public corruption, which carried more than 1,000 years in prison. But every one of those 64 charges, every one of them, have since been dropped in this cartoonish and slapstick persecution of Mayor Anderson. Federal prosecutors agreed to stop persecuting her a couple months ago if she agreed to a plea deal, stating that she met ECS owner Mickey White in October rather than December of 2018. That's it. That's what the feds spent nearly 3 years of time, treasure, and deflection doing. They got her. She's a convicted felon. They love to say that every chance they get. She's a convicted felon. Yeah, okay. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. That's what Stalin's secret police chief told him all the time. And they can do that to anybody. And that's the point. And I mean anybody. And I'm not going to get into that right now. Even if Mayor Anderson had chosen to go to trial, by the way, because some of you say she should have went to trial if she didn't want to be a convicted felon. Even if she chose to go to trial, after 3 years of enduring this, and a jury found her not guilty, federal prosecutors were set to indict her again by bringing back charges that they themselves had dropped. Powerful interests really, really wanted Jesse Nelson to be the mayor of Lynn Haven in 2020. After all, he's the St. Joe Company's reliable puppet. Voters can remove him from office, though, in 2 weeks, April 18th. And that would be a big step to restoring the public trust and real leadership in the city of Lynn Haven. We'll see. Even with the great Arthur Cullen, the great campaign manager, I know he's a scumbag. I know that. I know he's a dumpster diver and he has fake accounts. By the way, if you see fake accounts on Facebook that are saying snarky things, it's because he got busted with his fake account, Alex Cantone. So he deleted that real quick. Now, a lot of us have screenshots from years back of Alex Cantone. So ugly. So ugly. Political operative. And even with Arthur Cullen, 2 years ago, Jesse Nelson only won by like 20 votes against Ellen Fields. Ellen Fields is running again. You got to vote for her as well on the commission. She's running for a commission seat. But this time, Jesse Nelson's got himself a real challenge. Judy Tinder's running for mayor. She resigned her seat to run for mayor. Judy Tinder has already won a couple of elections. Voters know who she is. They like that she wanted a financial audit. They like that she questions profligate spending. They like Judy Tinder. Police Chief Ricky Ramey doesn't like Judy Tinder. Yeah, that looking dyke. Remember that? The text? The vindictive and vulgar police chief doesn't like her. And her supporter, city manager Vicky Henry, doesn't like her. Tell you what, if these seats are flipped, there will be real leadership in Lynn Haven that gives a damn about the people, that don't gaslight you. I'll tell you who's worried. The police chief's worried. The city manager's worried. Probably even the very, very expensive legal team that also represents the other crooked governments like Panama City Beach, which I still think takes the cake. It's like I'll tell you what, if this was a horse race, within Bay County, you got Bay County, Panama City Beach is like Secretariat. And right neck and neck is Panama City. Lynn Haven, right there too. I mean, it's a three-way race. Callaway is saying, hey, don't count me out. Callaway's saying, here I come. And those three cities here, Callaway, huffing and puffing right behind him. Wow. Isn't it incredible how much protection the real criminals get? I don't even know what to say about that. I really don't even know what to say about that. Let's see here. I remember Jesse Nelson calling Cloudus. Yeah, wasn't that something, Michelle? There's Cloudus' side, and then there's the truth, he said. That's right. That's what Mayo or Nelson said. I hope they do, Brian. I really do. All right, I am going to, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Those are the things I want to share with you tonight. There's so many things coming. So here's the status on the James Finch case, the developer James Finch, who the prosecutors dropped most of the charges on him too. They went with 2 charges in front of a jury 3 weeks ago, as you know. And of course, both counts came back hung jury because there's not enough evidence to convict. The most a jury could do is imagine or surmise that Finch might have done these things. That's all they can do because there's no evidence. And since that's the case, federal judge Mark Walker right now is reviewing James Finch's renewed motion for the judge himself to acquit rather than a retrial. For the judge to acquit based on the scant evidence under Federal Rule 29 that says, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. No, that's not what it says. That's not what it says. What it says is, if you're a federal defendant and the evidence, after it's shown, and it was all shown, prosecutors had an entire crack at it. Even the jury had a crack at it. No convictions. So if the evidence is so scant that all a jury could do, a reasonable jury could do, is just say, I bet he did it. He looks like the kind of guy. I'm not sure. They can only surmise, right? Because there's no evidence. If that's the case, even if half the jury thinks he, maybe he did do it, we don't know if he's innocent. That's not the standard, by the way. The standard is there enough proof to convict or is there reasonable doubt? That's the standard. And nobody knows better than Judge Walker. He now has seen it all, every bit of it. And he let this go to trial because it would have been an extraordinary move to throw it out pre-trial. And he didn't. I'm sure that was the right decision. And then he wanted to give the judge of facts the opportunity. He's the judge of the law. The jury, he told us, and I've learned from him, is the judge of the facts. And they couldn't come to a decision because there's not enough evidence. And so, everybody's had a crack at it. Nobody's going to say Judge Walker rushed this one. He jumped the gun. He didn't give it a chance to play out the way it's supposed to play out. Boy, has he ever done that. Boy, has he ever done that. But now he's looking at the renewed motion to acquit, and he could rule at any time. Anytime he could issue a ruling on that. That would be incredible. But there have been other developments in the Finch retrial, because if you're James Finch, you don't only have to go in front of a jury of your peers, you got to go in front of a jury of your peers again and again. With I'm going to be surprised if U.S. Attorney Jason Cootie allows his assistant U.S. attorneys, Andrew Grogan and Keene. Forgive me, Prosecutor Keene, but I don't remember your first name. That's not to say that I shouldn't. I should remember your first name, and I don't mean to forget it. But you guys know this is absurd. I could tell when you were making your closing arguments. You know, come on. So I don't think you want to be doing it. Get it handed off to you by Stephen Coons. And I'm not going to go into that. He retired. How does a guy like that? What I don't understand is how you guys who know what he does, guys like Stephen Coons. I mean, we need you prosecutors. We need you guys. Those bad guys need to get put away for sure. But doggone, I mean, how do you live with yourselves when you know a guy like Stephen Coons has been doing this stuff to people? How do you do that? I don't get that part. And I've only heard good things about U.S. Attorney Jason Cootie. And he got a chance. He was there. He got a chance to watch a lot of this. And I know he wants a victory because a conviction, because that's a victory. But U.S. Attorney Cootie, it's not a sport. Like, this is a $5,000 check and all this time and money. Could you please go after some real criminals? Spend the time going after some real criminals. I would be surprised if Jason Cootie allows this to go to a retrial. But I know the game, though, and I wish that you wouldn't do that either. I mean, just let's push it all the way to July and make everybody suffer. Spend all this money because it's not our money. If it's not our money, who gives a damn, right? You know how it works. But these people have brought us a little bit of embarrassment. And they're going through some stuff, and we could really, if we can't get a conviction, we could really hurt them. Teach them to embarrass us. U.S. Attorney Cootie, will you please do the right thing and spend the time and effort going after who you know needs to be held accountable? Please do that. Oh, everybody's here. For a second, I forgot. I swear, I feel like I'm on a FaceTime with U.S. Attorney Jason Cootie. I would love to say that he ended up reeling in his not junior prosecutor, but assistant U.S. attorneys and said, hey, Andrew Grogan, hey, Mr. Keene, you guys use your extraordinary talents and go after these guys who have stolen from the people, who have broken public trust, who have really defrauded the people of honest service. There's a lot of people out there. You know who they are. I know you do. Let's go get those guys. All right. With that, I also want to thank the rest of you who allow this to be possible.
Is your past ruining your future? Having your record sealed or expunged wipes the slate clean, providing you with a new opportunity in life. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. And of course, thank you to the Unknown Patriot for your support and believing in my efforts to bring the truth and the rest of the story to all of you. Thank you so much for being with me, and I will see you real soon.